Welcome to another episode of The Real Money Coach. This is so amazing. It's February 4th. Yes, 2021. And I don't know, we got the Super Bowl coming up. So I'm going to bring up Toni in a second because, we got to talk about that. It's exciting. But, is it me or am I just crazy? But does it feel like time is moving faster? I just got to ask the question because I want you to know this. Where you are right now is a result of what you've done in the past, right? Your thoughts, your words, your actions from the past have dictated where you are right now. Now, the question is, where are you going to go in the future? I love to say, and go ahead and type in the chat box where you're watching from, because, this is a family affair. We come together every Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern. So type in the chat box where you're watching from. But watch this visual. I'm a very visual learner. Let's just say here's where you are, right? And your dreams, your goals, they're up here. And the question is, what are you doing to close that gap? What are you doing to close that gap? You see, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And I love tonight's title. And I'm going to let Toni, do the drum roll, please. And because we have a very special guest who's really going to unpack some things. This lady is on a mission. When I first connected with her, it was amazing. I just felt, just her excitement, her enthusiasm, her commitment to high standards. So you're in the right place at the right time. And I want you to understand, go ahead and get your notepad, get your pen, because we're going to unpack some things about you are wealthy and worthy. What does that mean, right? And the thing is that where you are today is a direct correlation to your past thoughts, your past words, your past actions. But now we're talking about where are we going to go? It's February 4th, y'all. And the question is, how are we going to make this the best decade? I'm not talking about just a year. I'm talking about let's make the 2020s the best decade ever. So we're going to unpack that. And so let's go ahead and bring Toni up because, we just came off a phenomenal program, 2 days ago with Dr. George Fraser. So Toni, how are you doing tonight?
Marlon, I am excellent, bro. I am excellent. Listen, coming off a Tuesday night, listen, the energy is in the air. The fire is burning, man. Now listen, I know you and I are about the same age. You remember back in the day when they said the roof. You remember that?
The roof is on fire. Right? We don't need no water. Let the mother burn.
Right? So listen, it is on fire right now. I think 2021 is really just that year that just kind of, actually, man, in many ways, 2020 had brought some really realities to us, and it made us get rid of some baggage, and I know there was a lot of hardship. There's a lot of people that lost lives, a lot of people were sick, and my heart goes out to them. But I think 2021 is on a great trajectory. As the program on Monday night. Listen, the program on Monday night has already gotten almost 3,000 views online.
Really?
I just checked it. It almost has gotten 3,000 views online between YouTube and Facebook with Dr. George Fraser. And right before our call, I just got off of another. I'm doing 2 calls with him today. Just got off another call with him, and just, man, it's just really exciting, man. It's really exciting.
No, it really is. Yeah, and look, man, we got Greg Charles all the way in California, always cutting jokes, right? And we're talking about relationships, right? And this brother, let's unpack Marlon Smith and Toni. I got my drawer. This boy, what I'm saying? And look, that's supposed to be my friend, okay? Greg Charles, right? And the reason I say that is because, we got so many individuals all over the world. And I want you to just type in the chat box where you're watching from, right? I've known this brother since 10th grade, high school, right? And, what I want to say, Toni, you can see his excitement. You see his enthusiasm. You see that big old smile, happy Kool-Aid smile, right? The reason why is because, like he said, almost 3,000 individuals have been blessed by our video, our program, and you can go to YouTube, / The Real Money Coach. Go ahead and subscribe. We bring wealthy information and strategies, and we have special guests like the guests we have coming on tonight. And the thing is that, Toni, we had this kickoff. Can you unpack that kickoff? Because I want people to see. I know you said we're going to give a special offer. So let's just, real quick, go into that. We'll bring up the flyer or maybe the website page, whatever, Chris wants to do. But talk about what's coming up on February 16th.
And February 16th, man, we are doing financial wellness for business owners. Listen, financial wellness for business owners. It's a 6-week course. And I want to say this. Don't get in your mind a business owner like, I got to have this, or I got to have so many employees, I got to make so much money. We're talking about, even if you're starting to think about having a business, even if you have an idea, a dream, and it's ready to put that dream onto paper, if you're ready to launch that business, right? This is where you want to be. You want to be, because where's the richest place on earth?
The cemetery.
Marlon, the cemetery. Because so many people have died with their ideas just in their head. Right. And so we want to encourage people, if you are considering starting a business, this is for you. If you have been around and you're a seasoned business, this is for you. If you think one day you may want to have a business, it's for you. Now, let's unpack the 6 weeks. The first week is going to be, financial psychology and mindset, right? Financial psychology and mindset. These are all on Tuesday evenings, and they're start at 8 p.m. Eastern, financial psychology and mindset. And then we move over to budgeting and for business owners. And what we're going to talk about is what things you need to keep separate, what things you can do together. We're going to unpack this, because we know, and we say this all the time, Marlon, if you don't tell your money where to go, it'll go where it wants to, right? So then we're going to deal with personal credit and business credit. Is my personal credit really my business credit when I start? How do I build a business profile? How do I have a Dun and Bradstreet profile for business owners? And then we're going to move into loans and debt management and the elimination of the debt. So often we think that we have to go into debt, that's the only way to capitalize our business. There's many other things, especially in this post-COVID era. So there's lots out there. Matter of fact, next week on this show, we're going to be talking about the stimulus package, second round. Michelle Mitchell's going to be with us. We're going to unpack that. She unpacked the first round with us, and so we're going to do that. And then we move into insurance and estate planning, and then finally retirement planning for business owners, because we know 70% of business owners are not planning for their business, their retirement, continuation. And so we're going to unpack all this. It's going to be 6 dynamic weeks. You're going to receive a workbook. You're going to receive action guides each week after it, as well as the recording. And so listen, Marlon, all of this is for $97. Listen, $97. And here's the thing about it, man. George Fraser, Dr. George Fraser, he said it Tuesday night, and he's been telling me this, right? He says, Tony, you got to raise the prices on your stuff. You guys got to raise the prices on your stuff. And he said, because you're giving so much value for the amount that you're charging. And I think Dr. Fraser's right. We are so excited to, just offer this and get this information out. I mean, this is our ministry. We've said that so many times. For me, my ministry and my work have come together. This is what it is. So listen, and so not only are we going to offer it for $97, but if you register and you use the discount code MONEY, money, you're going to save $20 for that $97. Listen, you want to be a part of it. And matter of fact, we may even post in here a link to the kickoff that happened on Tuesday. So if you want to go back and watch that, maybe you're on the treadmill, maybe you're on your elliptical and you want to go back and watch the kickoff event from Tuesday night, you can do that. We'll post that chat, post it on the screen. Go back and check it out. And while you're there at YouTube, checking out Dr. George Fraser and what he did there, make sure you do like Marlon said, subscribe to our YouTube channel, right? So, man, that's it, man. I'm excited. Wow.
Excellent.
And here's the thing, Marlon, is there no drop off. We got Mia in the house tonight. What?
I love it, man. I love it. And as you're going to go ahead and introduce Mia Toni, one of the things that I want to say to everyone is I want you to ask yourself this question. And you can type in the chat box because we're going to be real. Are you where you want to be right now? It's February 4th, 2021. Are you where you want to be? Just type yes or no. Because I want you to understand, the only way to create a new reality, right? And Mia's going to unpack this, our special guest, wealthy, are you wealthy and worthy? I mean, it's going to be phenomenal and you're in the right place. But I want you to be real because, and I appreciate Dr. Benita Harris said no. Because, one of the things I realize is that when we take off the mask and we're real, that's when there's power. When we're transparent, take off the mask, I know y'all bling blinging, got the car, got the house, got the clothes, but behind closed doors, here's what I realized about life. Because I've been on this mission a long time, 29 years, just celebrated our 29th year of business. And I've come to realize that a lot of times people are, bling blinging and faking the funk, right? And, and we're going to be talking about brand and image and all that and money tonight. And so it's all intertwined. Because I want you to understand, once you can come from a space of truth, once you can say, you know what, I'm not where I want to be. And that's power. Because now you have an opportunity to go higher. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. So I want you to share the realmoneycoach.com, /events, right? Or, people can click on the events tab. But I want you to share that website with at least 10 people tonight. At least 10 people, 10 of your family, your friends, because just look at all this. And Chris, if you put this up, on the screen, right? We've got, we got Canada in the house. Congratulations, Canada. But I see, Ruth Bell, right, says no. Esther says no. Alex says not quite, right? I saw Vicky said, take off the mask, right? And Greg says, close but not there yet, right? And so all I'm saying is that there's room for growth. Remember what I said at the beginning? Here's where you are and here's where your ideal is. So now it's about closing the gap. And I'm going to say something to you. We're so confident in this program. We also have 100% money back guarantee. Now, that's really something. You have nothing to lose and everything gain. So you can, forward that email to your family, your friends, because why not grow together? So with that being said, Toni, let's go ahead and you go ahead and do the introduction of Mia because I'm excited, man. Let's get this party rolling.
Well, listen, man, let's go back. We always do this. I want to recognize those who put in the chat box that they're here. We got Dr. Benita Harris from Charlotte. We got your old brother Tommy Day from Boston, Massachusetts. We got Ruth Bell said coming to you from Charlotte, the Queen in the Queen City. We got Alice Martin from Charlotte. Who else we got here? We got Vicky Wise from Columbia, South Carolina. And you've already mentioned Greg Charles from California is in the house. And so, man, this is awesome. And one of the things, Marlon, that for me, you mentioned Canada. So welcome from another country. How about that?
That's right.
Is that I've learned to be like Paul, right? Paul said, that hey, we got Chase. Chase is in the house from Atlanta, Georgia. Love it, Chase. So
yeah. And Toni, we also before you cut, I gotta say Ryan Ray is in the house.
Ryan is in the house.
Ryan, great to have you here, brother. Because it's because of Ryan. Because of Ryan, that's how we connected with Mia. So it's all about relationships. I want us to understand that's the power of what we're doing, right? So go ahead, Toni. I just wanted to make that mention because if you don't know about YBE, listen, ladies and gentlemen, YBEHub.com, right? The year of the Black entrepreneur, right? YBE, year of the Black entrepreneur hub. So YBEHub.com. Go check it out. This brother, man, he's a dear friend.
We got to get Ryan on the schedule, Marlon. We got to get Ryan on
the
schedule. We got to get him on the schedule, right? So there's so much synergy in what he does and what we're doing. And I love that. The year of the Black entrepreneur. I think that's awesome. But, man, I've learned to be satisfied where I'm at, but still be hungry, right? And so, it's like, where we are and where we want to go, it's you're not like beating yourself up for where you are because you're worthy, right? But yet you're still hungry, and that's how I love it, man. I want to stay hungry, but I don't want to be so hungry that I don't enjoy where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We don't want to just let the time go by and not enjoy where we're at, who we have, beautiful people in our family. Matter of fact, I talked to your mom today. Such a wonderful person. I mean, just awesome, man.
Yeah,
and so, just enjoying life as we go. But let's get to Mia, man. I'm ready to introduce this powerhouse of a entrepreneur, brand strategist, transformation coach. She works with women entrepreneurs. And I love this, disruptive corporations. She helps disruptive corporations find their brand voice. And I'm going to ask her, what is a disruptive corporation? I think I got an idea, but I want to unpack that for our audience. She's got such a unique background in image consulting, leadership development, transformation, coaching, along with her futuristic thinking sets her apart. And so the one thing I like about her when I looked at her resume or her bio is that this is one thing that stood out to me. She said in there's Mia to make a difference in the world by giving her clients a sense of importance while focusing on excellence. And we believe this is that if you chase excellence, money will chase you, right?
Right. That's good.
No further ado. Let's bring onto the stage Miss Mia. How are you doing?
Well, what's up? Thank you. Thank you.
Hey.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the intro. I wrote all that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Hey,
Mia,
listen.
go ahead, Tony.
Go ahead, Marlon. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, Mia, you can tell Tony's excited, right? This brother's grinning. He's been grinning all show, right? From Dr. Frazier to now you.
I've been hype. I'm like, okay, I need this every day. I need
right.
every day.
Exactly. But one of the things I want to say, Mia, because you very successful, and success not just as a business owner, but in your relationships, as far as you being someone that gives to the community, right? As a friend, and a family member. But I want to talk to you because I think for us, we've experienced a lot, 9/11 and so on and so forth. But last year, COVID-19 really, can we just say it maybe had the whole world on pause, right, for a minute, right? And so, I just want to hear your experience. What happened? How did it impact you? How did you deal with it? I mean, we want to be real. So feel free, talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely. When COVID hit, I was one of the people who were like, okay, this is going to be something really, really small. It's not going to be that long. We're going to be out of this soon. And here we are almost a whole year later, right? And while I can say as a transformation coach, right, because I want to be spiritual and say all of the right things, but I too, right, participated in a lot of Netflix, a lot of checking out, a lot of not wanting to deal with what was actually going on in the world, right? But when I really got down to, okay, let me get to the root of why this is really happening for me for me and for the world. And then I was like, right? We all needed to sit down.
Wow.
Right? We all needed to take a seat. We all needed to go within. And for me, what it's taught me is that we also don't have to depend on anyone else for our wealth or our worth.
That's good. One thing, can I just jump in? You said what happened for me. See, I listened. You didn't say, like I'm a victim, but what happened for me? What was the gift? Break that down, sister. Break it down. Come on, somebody.
That's good.
So we can look at it both ways, right? We can look at it something that happened to us, or we can look at it that's something that happened for us. One of our mentors used to have us reframe things all the time. You talk about mindset. And that's what your mindset is. And if we're not working on our mindset daily, and it's a never ending process, so don't think you'll ever be done. If we're not working on our mindset daily, it's really easy to go back to those patterns and behaviors that we grew up with, right? I didn't start doing personal development till I was probably 25, 26. So I had all of that to undo,
Woo!
right?
Wow.
You got a lot of work to undo. Our parents did the best that they could, but they too did not know like the real truth about how life and how this actually works, right? A lot of us weren't even privy to this information, right?
Right.
We're really getting into this information as a culture. Let me just say that, right? You want to say something, Tony?
No, I think that's so important because so often it's like we gotta reprogram, and we gotta go back and we gotta get to root those things, and that's so much of what we talk about when we talk about financial psychology is, okay, where did you learn about money? What's your first recollection of money? And and we've heard these things all our life. Is like, don't do that because money doesn't grow on trees, or those types of little idioms that we've heard that have shaped our psychology and our psyche as it relates to money. And I've actually talked to people, and I want you to unpack this, that kind of have admitted that I have felt like I'm not worthy of success because I've never seen it. I never experienced it in my life. And so I tend to self-destruct when I get close. So I would love to hear your opinion on that.
Absolutely. I have two. The first one is we some of us haven't seen it, so we don't know how to do it, right? Or we hear as children, you're not worthy. You're worthless. You're smart. You're not, whatever it is that you heard, whether it was from your parents, whether it was from the schoolyard bully. And for people of color, we've heard it our entire existence in this country.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Our worth, we built the country, but our worth was not compensated, right? We weren't compensated for it. So not only do we have to deal with that, like on this level, like there's a cellular level that we deal with this too, right? This stuff is in our DNA. It's in our DNA, and we have to decide. We get to make the decision that no more. Like, I am going to claim my worth. And the thing about being worthy, right? We talk about this, like, you're worthy because you are, not because somebody else said.
Right. I love that because as I was thinking about what you're saying, we're human beings, right? And I think what happens, we've been conditioned, right? One of my favorite movies is The Matrix. Okay. Yes. And straight up, right? Tony knows, man, I know that movie inside out, blue pill, green pill, right? I know it, Jack. And the thing is that Morpheus wanted Neo. He saw Neo. He saw something greater in Neo, who was Mr. Anderson at the time, right? And the thing is that, I want to talk about Mia and Tony, we talk about this reprogram because we're in the matrix, y'all. Right? We've been all conditioned. I like conditioned. That's my word. We all been conditioned to think, oh, this is beauty. Oh, this is success. And so, for me, Mia, Tony, what are you doing on a daily basis and you mentioned it already, Mia, this isn't a one and done. So what are some of your practices? What are some of your routines? What are some of your rituals that you're doing to help you walk in your greatness?
I have a list of 11. That I do daily. Yeah, it's 11. And the reason why is because it takes your own village to recreate all of this for you. So there's neuroscience is what this is called, right? The rewiring of your brain. And so that's right, David, the daily 11. So when you first wake up, let's talk about when you first wake up. Most people think, oh my God, I'm so tired. Oh my God, I got to go to this job I can't stand. I'm going to be sitting in traffic today. Well, maybe you might sit in traffic. My boss, right? I don't like my boss. I don't like my coworkers. So immediately when we wake up,
come on,
right? We've already started down that track that's going to help us stay going down the tunnel, right?
Yes.
What I do is to retrain my brain is meditation first, right?
Okay. Right.
Meditation, prayer, exercise, some kind of body movement, reading, studying, doing all of the things that feed my brain. So a lot of us love to listen to rap music. We love to listen to, those love songs. Most of them are all about codependency. Seriously.
Woo!
And I love a great ballad. I love a Lionel Richie song. But when from where my perspective now, I'm like, oh my God, like this is some codependency stuff.
Right, being broken.
Right.
Right.
And and then we're not gonna get into the gangster rap and all that other kind of thing. But the point is this: is like, what are we feeding our brains the minute we wake up?
Right.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah. So for me, like that's how I start. Like I gotta have a morning routine, and then throughout the day, there are things that I do, and then I bookend my day. So I started off that way, and then at the end, I'm bookending it to say, okay, what do I have to be grateful for today?
Come on.
What happened today that I can be grateful for? How did I show up the way I wanted to show up today? And then what can I do better? And this is not from a place of beat up. Like I'm not going to be beating myself up, right? But I am going to hold myself accountable for how I show up in the world and how I show up for myself.
Man, that's good.
That's good. I love that. I love that, how I show up for the world and how I show up for myself, because ultimately you're representing yourself. Right. And I think that's so good. I love that. And just evaluate every day. Go ahead.
Well, that's what your brand is. Your brand is your representation of yourself. Because if you don't think that you're an extension of your business,
that's true.
Right? You're an extension of your business. So when people see you, like people will say, I've had somebody say to me, I work with a person. I work with their policy, not the person. Like, what's the difference? What's the difference? Right. My values as a person are my values as a company. I want people to understand their value and their worth and get paid for that. We've been taught that we have to be somebody else,
right,
in order to get ahead. And I want to change that. So you were asking me about disruption. That's what I mean by disruption. Busting through the status quo and saying, you know what? No longer is this okay with me. I want something better for myself. I want something that's true to who I am.
Wow. Mia, I got to jump in. I got to ask this question, and we'll get into your company and whatnot. But you mentioned that it was about 25 when you got introduced to the personal development. What's been something rough? What's something that you've had to overcome? I just feel, I sense that, I know that's an open-ended question. I know there's probably many things, but for our audience, one of the things that we like to do is be real, right? And just, we want people to understand, because, people are looking at you. We're going to go to your website in a few minutes. We'll see, see that. Well, oh, wow, Mia, oh my gosh, she is, thebomb.com, right? And at the same time, this is not an overnight thing. And really triggering in on the 25 years. So talk to us about, what's, something that you had to really deal with.
So there's so many things. Like I can get into a lot of it, but I would probably say the biggest thing that I had to overcome was that I was a hot mess express. Like I got into a career because it was easy, right? I used to babysit for a judge when I was in college and ended up working in the court system for 20 something years. Wow. Before I started doing this work full time.
Okay.
And it was me living I was living passively.
Okay. Good.
Gotcha.
I was living passively. So I would say the biggest thing for me was changing my mindset into I am the creator of my reality instead of my reality is created for me.
Okay.
Wow.
That's good.
So
thank you.
Creating your reality. And we always use this term is that, your activity is the bridge to your reality. And so we create the conditions that we want to operate in. And I love what you're saying, because it goes right back. It kind of goes full circle, right? It's not what happened to you, but what happened for you. It's all about the mental attitude. Love it.
Absolutely. And even like y'all, seriously, I still do this work. I was working with one of my spiritual healers, and she was like, "You're the biggest victim that I've ever met." And this was like 2 years ago. And I was mad, y'all. I was mad. I was like, I've been doing my work. What do you
Right. I'm paying you. Okay.
Right. So I was a victim to her telling me I was a victim.
Wow.
That's good.
I was a victim to her telling me I was a victim. She made me wear a sticky. She made me wear a sticky that says I'm a victim. And people talking about it, right? And I was a victim to the sticker.
Wow. That's so good.
But the fact of the matter is that in that moment, like, I was willing to wear the sticky. I was willing to call myself out on it. I still have victim days, but I am so much more aware of it now than I was in the past. And I can move away from it quicker than I used to do. Right? That's where you see the growth.
Okay.
Right? We're talking about perfection.
Wow.
It's dealing with it. I mean, and I think so often, and you know this probably better way you can unpack it, is the reason why we don't get past those points, those challenges in our life, because we're not willing to deal with them. We want to ignore them as though they don't exist. And how can you get past something if you're ignoring it? That you're pretending like it doesn't exist. So how do you help your clients get? How did you, and then how do you help others deal with the things that they don't want to deal with in order to move forward?
Well, you got to deal with it. Like, you got to open it all up. You got to dig it all out and just expose it. Because here's what one of my teachers told me. He said, we were talking about ignoring problems, right? What you just said. Because I think people do that, especially with their money, right? I'm going to go throw these bills in a box. I'm going to ignore the phone that keeps ringing when the bill collectors are calling, right? Ignoring something is a form of resistance. And we know that what we resist persists.
Yep.
Right? So if we surrender, which means we cease to resist the thing that's ailing us, that's when we get the breakthroughs.
That's good.
That's when we get the breakthrough. So the thing is to actually, if you don't want to tell me, it's okay. You know, it's okay. You don't want to tell me I'm your coach. I'm the person that you're supposed to be telling it to. But first, you got to admit it to yourself.
To yourself, yeah.
Right.
To yourself be true.
Yeah. So you got to admit it to yourself. But you also have to have a certain level of awareness about what it is. And then you really do have to find somebody that you trust that can bring you through it.
Okay. Yes.
Sometimes we get hooked up with people that aren't on the up and up. And that's where I teach my clients to trust themselves too, right? I can give you advice all day long. I love telling people what to do. Look, you ask my brother, you ask my cousins. I've been doing this since I came out of the womb, right? I've been doing what to do since I was born. Sure. But I also tell my clients that you get to trust yourself. Like, this is my advice, but you get to do what's best for you based on your instinct, not based on your fear.
Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And you just taking me into a biblical verse, right? In James, it talks about confess your sins one to another so that you may be healed. And so first, the confession I have to realize I have something to confess.
Yes.
Then I gotta be willing to go to my brother, my sister, somebody, and make that confession so that I can heal, because faith comes by hearing, and when we do that, it releases us. You know, it releases us when we're able to do that, and that's what your coach is for.
Absolutely. And what I found is that everybody has skeletons in their closet.
Right.
I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm surprised at some of the stuff that people tell me, only because I was like, well, dang, I didn't realize that everybody had
Sure.
lessons, right?
Right.
But if
Yeah.
you've lived your life, you've done some things that you're not proud of. And when we keep them to ourselves and when we try to hide them from other people, that's when we can't show up as our true selves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Imposter syndrome. Yeah.
Right. We were talking about the mask and the makeup, right? We
Right.
put it on because we don't want people to see it, but people see it.
Right.
They see it. They might not actually see it with their eyes, but they get it from the vibe. They get it from your vibe.
Yeah. And you know, I think the other thing with that is that it's a weight. It's like an invisible weight that's on you. When you're not living and being authentic, you know, and just being real, it's a weight, you know, trying to be somebody that you're not, you know, and I think that's the really, you know, and you know, it really goes back into in what you do with your brand, you know, helping people with their personal brand, right? Because you can be your authentic self. You know, I can say the right things, but you know, it's a feeling, it's a discernment, right? This is a spiritual game, y'all. And it really comes down to, you know, yeah, I can, you know, touch you, I can hear you, but it's a spiritual game. And then you can feel when somebody's being authentic. You can feel when somebody's being, you know, trying to pull one over on you.
Well,
And so,
guys,
yeah, right. And so, Mia, you know, your company is an image consulting and personal branding company. You know, what makes your company special? I mean, I think, you know, I've already got a sense. I think our viewers also can see that there's a realness to you. But talk to us, and we're going to go to your website as well, you know, just to show people your website, because, you know, that to me, you know, and that's the beautiful thing. That's what we do on The Real Money Coach is we want to bring people that are sincere, that are compassionate, that are, you know, really about making a positive difference. You know, we're very selective about who we invite. So, you know, but I want you to have the opportunity, Toni and I, to share with our viewers, you know, more about your company and what makes you unique.
Absolutely. Well, I would say that what makes me unique is that I'm always doing self-examination. As you were talking about the company and what we actually have on the website, right? Right now, I'm in my own personal struggle about being an image consultant or being called an image consultant, because I don't feel like I need to help you manage your image. I feel like I need to help you be more of who you were meant to be.
Woo.
And
That's a good
right. And in the image industry, I feel like we almost feed into that you got to be a certain way in order to get a certain thing to happen.
Got it.
Wow, I love that. So what I'm hearing you say is part of your thing that makes you special is getting people not to try to portray an image of what people want or what they expect, but how to embrace who you really are, and that's your image. You know, what Angelo said, you know, when someone tells you who they are the first time, believe them, you know. And how do we, am I right on that?
Well, I would say that it's more about taking off the masks, right? Like taking off all of the things that society told us that we needed to be, right? That's the biggest one, especially for people of color, but especially for women of color. We have been we've been told so many times that everything about us is wrong, everything. So we need to put this chemical in our hair. We need to put this chemical in our body. We need to squeeze ourselves into these clothes that weren't even made for us, right?
Wow.
And for me, it's about, no, we're going to take these clothes, we're going to alter them to make them work for us. If we have to do that, we're going to create our own clothes. We're going to show up what makes us feel our best, right? And if you still want to put the chemicals in your hair and all that stuff, like that's up to you. But the point is that you get to choose.
Yes, come on. I like that.
You get to choose what that is, right? And as entrepreneurs, we get to choose all the time. Do I have a better chance of getting some money from a bank if I show up dressed up and yes, sir, and yes, you know, all of these things? Probably. But do I want to work with a bank that has me jump through hoops in order to get the thing that I need to be successful?
Right. Right. Right.
No, that's so funny because it reminds me, when I graduated from college, being an accounting major, and we know accounting was really, very white male dominated, to be quite frank. And I remember there was always this debate of, we were very involved in National Association of Black Accountants, and there were people that say, don't put that on your resume because that's going to be an immediate reason where you're not going to get an interview. And I would always say, listen, well, when I show up for the interview, it's not going to be any question.
Right.
If they don't want to hire me because I'm Black, save me the trouble of wasting my time to call me in. And then when I come in there and sit down with my Black self, you have already made up your mind you're not going to hire me.
Sure.
And so, I never could really embrace that whole line of thinking, but it so often is what we hear. And I love what you're unpacking. And I think this could really help a lot of people, be who you are, Yeah.
And I think right now we're moving into that space, right? We're moving into a space where people are like, we're done playing this by your rules because your rules only benefit you, right? They're not benefiting the collective.
Right.
So when we get to the collective and we realize that we're all the same, because we got to get to that, right? We got to get to that. We're all one. We're all the same. But when I show up for your job interview and I am emulating you, but it's not my true nature, because I wasn't even that's not even in my true nature. It's not even in my DNA, but I'm going to do it because I know that this is going to help me to get the job. It actually hinders us. It actually hinders us because you feel like a fraud and you show up with that fraud energy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think, when you're your authentic self, right? I learned kind of early, Mia and Toni, especially when I was in college, right? I joined a fraternity and I was a little different, you know what I'm saying? I danced to a different beat. And once I became comfortable with that, right? And it just everything just took off. And even as a professional speaker, right? Les Brown's one of my friends, a mentor. I thought I had to have a Les Brown laugh to make it. And I tried. I tried, y'all. But it just wasn't comfortable, right? And then I just realized I have a natural humor, just on stage, being my, my silly self, right? And that you can try to be a copycat. But I think when you are yourself and you feel, and to be honest with you, when you are yourself, it's very attractive. Because you just, it's like, man, you're okay with who you are. And people feel that confidence.
Your own skin. You're comfortable in your own skin. Yeah, I love that. Love that.
So Mia, I love it, brand, who you are. Now, the whole thing about, because a lot of our viewers, they're about to come out with the second round of PPP money and so on and so forth. And so, as far as cash flow and money management, do you see a correlation between your self-worth and your cash flow or your wealth? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. I believe that we kind of talked about this a little bit before we got started, but I believe that we as a people will sometimes undervalue ourselves. And so we feel like we can't even hold on to what we do get, right? We got to get rid of it because it helps us to believe the lies that we've been told all our lives, that we aren't worthy.
Right? Validates it.
Right? It validates the lie we've been told, right? It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but we're not even doing the prophesizing, right? It's not even us telling us that.
Got it.
But when we get that we're worthy, then we know that we deserve to have health care. We deserve to have a retirement. We deserve to live comfortably and not have to worry about living paycheck to paycheck, because that doesn't feel good.
Right.
There's nothing worthy. There's nothing that says that you're worthy to yourself if you can't do those things for yourself.
That's good. That's
right?
Good.
Let's think about our diet, right? If we think about our diet and what we eat, and how in most urban neighborhoods we have grocery stores that don't have fresh fruit and that kind of stuff, right? We know for our bodies that stuff is not the best for us. It's not, healthy foods are not available to us, right? We are worthy of having healthy food. We're worthy of having health. But we don't have that stuff because of the fact that we don't believe we deserve it. And we believe the lies that we've been told. And so we just get into that.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's amazing because I have this conversation with so many people that I meet with, and they're seniors. They've worked 30, 40 years of their life, and they've saved. You know, not everybody, and I know savings and retirement is a real crisis in America, but there's a lot of people that have done well and they've saved. And I have to have this conversation with them sometimes. It's like, listen, it's okay for you to spend some of this money you've been saving for 40 years. They're like, no, I don't want to touch it. You know, I just want to leave. No, you are worthy of that. You are worthy of taking some of that 401k, starting with income. We can do some things to help you feel comfortable with what you're taking, but you're worthy of it. And you should enjoy your life and not just simply, live as a miser or something like that. But that I run into that so often, and it's a hard, stronghold to break for some people.
It is. I mean, because that's the other side of the coin of the person who spends it all, right? Is the person who hoards it. So they're both the same disease. They're just different sides of the coin. They're both a scarcity mindset.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the scarcity is actually being brought forth because they don't believe that they're worth it.
Right. I mean, we talk about the 4 money mindsets, and so I'm not going to unpack that, but you just unpack them too. If they want to get the rest, they got to sign up for the course. Sign up for the course.
They got to sign up for the course. And here's the other thing I want to say about this, because I want people to understand that I am generalizing. I realize that everybody is not on either or both sides of the spectrum. So I want to say that, but I also want to say this. If you want to make an impact in the world, like if that's your brand, if that's who you want to be, and we all get to make an impact, whether it's big or small, but we can't make a big impact in the world if we don't have any money.
Right. Absolutely. If you don't think money is important, try to survive in this country without it, and you'll be fine.
Survive anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And
to that point, I see Wayne Anthony, he typed in the chat box, Wayne and Dylan registered. Frank says he's registering also. Thanks, Tony and Marlon. And, that to me is the power of action. I want to just thank Wayne and Dylan and Frank, because, it's one thing to hear a message, but, it's almost like information. Information is not power. It becomes power when you take action. Absolutely. And so, Mia, I want to talk to you. I want Tony to unpack these. I just want to have a conversation with you now. We got 6 modules coming up. We kick off on February 16th. And we've kind of, gone in and out. But I want you, from your perspective, successful business owner, you work with people. I want Tony to go through these 6 modules, because my intention, we do this program and, we have people all over the world, share, wow, this is great. And we want them to experience what you, Mia, what Tony, what I have experienced as far as our transformation. It came from, educating ourselves, right? It came from having mentors. It came from coaches. It came from reading. It came from, personal, professional development. It came from unpacking, some of the programming that, has been instilled in us. So I want to go through these 6 modules, because if you have not registered, please go to therealmoneycoach.com, click the events button, and go ahead and register. And you heard Tony say, we've got a very special, you type money, MONEY, in the coupon, and it's a discount, right? But I want Tony and Mia and I to have this conversation. Let's really talk about it, because I think we have a very nice foundation. Over 6 weeks, there's a lot you can do. They say it takes between 38 and 42 days to create a winning habit. And so we said, let's go a little bit longer, right? You know what I'm saying? We don't really help these people, right? But yeah, so, module 1, Tony, let's talk about it, man. Talk about financial psychology, because I know we kind of, but I want to unpack it, so that people understand it's a process.
Sure. Well, the first thing that I want to say, Marlon, is that, this 6 weeks is a start. And actually you can't become a superstar in 6 weeks. You're not going to undo everything in 6 weeks. And so that's why it's very important to have coaches that you connect with. Some coaches connect with us, or some people who need coaching connects with us. I think we're going to show a little bit about Mia, and she's coaching and that type of thing. And so, when we're talking about financial psychology, it's just that unpacking the mental attitude. And then moving on into, again, having a plan, being proactive by establishing a budget, by establishing a spending plan, and then also looking at your debt to income ratio. What is good debt? What is bad debt? How do I get out of debt? What are the two methods, primary methods for getting out of debt? So we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about credit. What is your credit profile? What things can you do to protect your credit, to improve your credit, doing all those things. And then moving into insurance and risk management, and really just talking about, what estate planning. I mean, listen, it is really shameful that so many people, and not shameful, but the reality is 7 out of 10 Americans don't have a will. And so why would we leave it up to the state to decide what happens to our stuff? We get all these other things together. So we need to do those things. And there's different ways of doing that. You could do with an attorney. You could go through us and through Legal Shield. I mean, there's a number of different things. And then after we get done talking about insurance and estate planning, then we're going to talk about retirement. What are your retirement? What are your retirement plans? What are the different methods of retiring? What is out there for you? And it's something that you have to plan for. And so we will unpack all those things. Again, you see the discount code, and we're very passionate about what we're doing and setting that foundation. And so we're just going to continue to do that. And we, again, encourage everyone to be a part of this, and then share it with others. Share it with others. And, we want to, and we plan to, and we will impact a lot of people. We're talking about 500 people. We want to impact, we want to have 500 people go through this course and then spread the word, help others. We want to be, I always say that we want to be a conduit. We don't want the blessings to come to us, but we want the blessings to go through us to other people. And so that's what it's all about.
Awesome.
And so that's it for our program, man.
Yeah. So Mia, from your perspective, Mia, what Tony just described, I just want to hear your perspective. You're talking about financial psychology, budgeting, credit, debt, insurance, estate planning, retirement, wealth, wealth, legacy. From your perspective, Mia, what resonates with you? What, on your journey, you're very successful. And success is not a destination. Success is a journey. So I wanted to hear from you when we talk about, this process, please share some feedback.
Yeah, I think that you have to start with the mindset. I too, when I'm working with my clients, we start with mindset, and you guys take them through what is like, you got to know where you are. You have to have an assessment. And remember that assessment is just a picture. It's not a judgment. I think a lot of people feel like they're going to be judged when you're looking at their money, and so they don't want to look at it.
Good.
Right? So it's more important for you. And that's what I think with anything, right? I don't want anybody to know my dirty little secrets. So the point is, like, once you can open up and once you can let people in and to see that, that's when you're going to be able to have the success. Now, you talked about habits and establishing habits. I say that, the next step in that is embodiment. And we get to embody these practices. Remember when I was saying how sometimes I'll have these self-defeating thoughts, but immediately I'll snap out of it?
Right.
That embodiment. And you guys will do the same thing. Like, once you go through a financial program, you stay on the track and keep trying to figure out the money thing, right? You just keep at it. And that's how you get the success until you can embody something, until it's part of you. That's what I mean by embody. Until it's part of you, you keep working at it.
That's good. Thank you. I just wanted you to share, because I think it's so important when we hear, someone who does coaching, right? Who's already got, a community, right? Because that's the other thing that you do very well. And I want to go to your website because I want people to see, the quality, that you bring. I mean, it's very, it's very powerful. So, and I know, like you said, you're looking at, okay, do I really want to do this, this whole personal image or, but look at that quality. When you see that, it exudes confidence. It exudes elegance, right? I mean, you look at that and I was like, whoa, this is a unique website. You with me? This isn't just, like a little, cut and paste, take some, pictures, from the website and post. I mean, look at that. You can see the professionalism. And so remember this, everyone, you have, I think they say 7.3 seconds, people size you up. Within 7.3 seconds, when a person walks into a room, within 7.3 seconds, they size you up. Now, it's their perspective, it's their perception of you. But what I'm saying is, what we've been talking about is being your authentic self. Because when you're your authentic self, people can feel that energy, right? When Toni walks in, because Toni, man, is a whiz when it comes to this whole, as far as financial, breaking down complex financial subjects, if you would, or topics, and bringing it out very simple. And if you haven't, received your iPad, Mia, has experienced it. She's like, wow, this is good, because iPad your money, increase, protect, and dominate your money. That was a download that he received, and it's phenomenal. So, again, if you want to just connect with Toni, info@therealmoneycoach.com. And then, we just put Mia's website on the screen as well. But if you missed it, send an email to info@therealmoneycoach.com, and we'll connect you with Mia, because she's on a movement. One of the things I realized is that let me do what I do the best, and let me connect with others to do the rest, right? Absolutely. I am not Mia. I am not Toni. But if I just stay in my lane and I just use the God-given gifts and talents that I've been blessed with, man, opportunities come. And the other thing is, there's no judgment, right? There's no crabs in the barrel. See, when you know who you are and you feel comfortable in who you are, I don't have to pull you down. And, it's the psychology, man. I mean, this is deep. And, we're going to have Mia back on for sure. So, Mia, I want you to, Toni, Mia, this has been phenomenal. The chat box is just going off the wall, right? People are really enjoying. And so, Mia, for our viewers, because we're rounding the corner, as they say, right?
Coming in.
We're coming in. For our viewers, what words of wisdom, what's encouraging words do you want to share, with our viewers?
I'm so glad you let me speak again, because I had something I wanted to say. Toni had mentioned it earlier, and then you brought it back when you said Toni had a download about iPad, right?
Right.
So we all get downloads.
Come on, somebody.
Sometimes we're not listening for them. But when we get those little downloads and we get those nudges, we have to take action. You talked about action. We get to take action with that stuff, and that's where you're going to actually see your life take off. So if you guys have a nudge to say, you know what, I probably should join this money course, or I should work with Mia, or I should go and do something with someone else.
Right.
That's something else I want to work on. Like, your nudges, that's God telling you that those are your next steps.
Yes.
And that's where those are my words of encouragement.
Wow.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
great.
great.
Listen to that voice. Listen to the voice.
Yeah.
So, Toni, how you feel, man? What do you think about this? I mean, Mia's been dropping.
I think this is awesome, man. I think that the show tonight has been awesome. Mia, thank you so much for being here. And those last nuggets of wisdom were just tremendous about listening to the download. And I love this word, straightway. When you get a download, go straightway, do it, put it in place. They said, if you get an idea and if you haven't enacted it within 90 days, you got to immediately put it into action. And I think that's so important. You know, that thing that you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh man, I got this idea. You know, I had this dream, you know, and all those types of things. Those are downloads. That's God. I mean, some of us, we're waiting for this audible voice from God to come, and he's speaking to us all day long. He's speaking to us and he's letting us know. And we just have to take and listen and adhere and be not just a hearer, but a doer, you know,
Sure.
be a doer. And the last thing I want to say this, man, and I can't help but to keep thinking about this, is we always talk about, it's not about who you know, but it's about who knows you. But more importantly, what do they know about you? You know, that's what's important. What do they know about you? And so I have thoroughly enjoyed. I have taken a lot of notes. That's why you guys see my head down doing that. A lot of notes. And one of the things I think, Marlon, that you touched on, and I think a lot of our viewers who've been watching us from the beginning know that we have no qualms about bringing someone in that some people would say, well, they're a competitor of yours, or they're that and this or the other. But we know that some people are going to resonate with Mia, that it's going to make sense for them to connect with her. Some people are going to resonate with us. Some people are going to go through our 6-week course and say, man, I need to take her course. You know, and so we have all that, and we're not afraid, because we're comfortable in what we do and how we do it, and we do it very excellently.
Yes.
And we bring other people on that are excellent. God keeps sending us wonderful guests like Mia and others. And so I'm just very thankful for that. And so thank you again for just being with us. And we look forward to the ongoing, you know, relationship that we have between, you know, your business, our business, and who we are and who you are. And I'm just tickled. So I'm good. I'm good, bro.
No, that's good. That's good. And Mia, please, you know, I just want to read some of the comments, you know, so you can see, you know, tonight, and I know you can see it as well, but I think it's really wonderful to basically speak, you know, what people have written, and then, you know, please stay in the green room. I know we want to definitely, you know, say thank you after, but Dr. Benita Harris said, nice, excellence, right? Ruth Bell said, awesome. I like that, right? Brother Dave said, this has been educational. Thank you. Marie Gates said, amen, right? And then and Marie Gates also said, God doesn't give ideas, he gives instructions. Woo, I like that. That's good, right? And so, you know, one of the things, you know, dear friend, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, the author of Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, you know, he once said, every year we get 5 multi-million-dollar ideas that are downloaded, each one of us, 5. And what happens is most people don't act on that nudge that Tony talked about. You know, like this idea comes and you're like, whatever. I mean, I can vividly, I know of a few ideas I've had, and then I see them on the marketplace, because what you know is if you don't move on it, right? God gave you an opportunity, the download. If you don't move on it, he gonna find somebody else. I mean, let's just be real straight. You know, you ain't the only one. You ain't the only one, Jack. You ain't the only one, right? And so, you know, I say that because I hope that from this show, you're inspired. One thing Mia also said was, without money, you cannot shine your light as bright as you could if you had money. Yeah. And so again, you know, we have this financial wellness for business owners, and as Tony said, it's for families. You know, don't get locked in. Oh, it's just for business owners. No, it's for everyone, because wealth, money, there are spiritual laws. There are laws that govern money, right? And so, you know, it's going to be powerful. But I also want to continue on, because I see Esther said, well done, thank you, right? And then Brad said, thank you, Mia. Hitting on all points, okay? Exclamation point. That brother wanted to make sure everybody knew, okay? And so thanks, Brad. And so with that being said, I want to say thank you, right? It's the first Thursday in February 2021. I also want to say, yo, the Super Bowl is coming up. Come on, somebody. And check this out. My man, what's that boy's name? Oh man.
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. And then what's the other one? Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
So check this out, right? Tom Brady is going to his 10th Super Bowl. I mean, it's almost like, are you serious? Right? I mean, the dynasty New England Patriots. I know Tony, he's shouting because I do not like the Patriots, right? But I had to give them their props, especially when they came back and beat Atlanta in the Super Bowl, and Atlanta had that big lead. I was like, okay, okay. They are a dynasty, the best dynasty, the greatest dynasty. But what I want to say, the reason why I'm saying this, what did Mia say? Mia, she's
I said that the Patriots did march down Atlanta. They marched.
They marched down.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing: is Tom Brady? This is his 10th Super Bowl. There's no other quarterback that's played in more than 5.
Right. No, but the reason I want to bring all this up is because I want y'all to catch because it's one thing. Oh yeah, Tom Brady 10 Super Bowls. Oh, that's great. But I want you to catch the nugget. The nugget is he left an established system, but he took himself to Tampa Bay, and in a new system in the new year, right? And now he's back at the Super Bowl. And so what I want to say is, that shows me when you have it within yourself. Oh, come on, somebody.
Yes.
When Mia's talking about be your authentic self, come on, somebody. What happens is people feel that. The whole team's shifted, right? The whole city shifted. Oh, Tom Brady's come because he is comfortable in who he is. He's not what do you call it? Like one of those, quarterbacks that, can move and all that. And right. So he has focused on his gifts and done very well. Where, Patrick Mahomes, right? I mean, this dude, man, he's exciting, right? I mean, and I'm rooting for the Chiefs. Okay. I'm putting it out there. Right. And you know why I'm rooting for the Chiefs? I'm getting all personal now because Andy Reid, I respect Andy Reid. When Michael Vick, the dog fighting, and then Andy Reid gave Michael Vick a second chance in Philadelphia when he was the Eagles coach.
Yeah.
And that just really spoke volumes. We all fall short. But that's the thing what Mia was talking about tonight. When you can recognize, hey, we're all in this, and let's take off the mask, right? What did Mia say? In her coaching program, a lot of people share things. They feel comfortable with her. She's got that. And so that's what we want to remember is that when you're authentic and especially when you take off your mask, it allows others to take off their mask.
Well, let me drop this dime on you, though. Let me drop this dime on you because when you're talking about Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to me, the shift in that organization came, we're seeing it manifested years later, but the shift really came with Tony Dungy. When Tony Dungy went to Tampa Bay, and he's from Jackson, Michigan. Shout out to the hometown, right? But check it out. Tony had a philosophy of coaching that no other team would take, but he refused to change his philosophy because he believed that it would be a winning philosophy. And he got turned down from head coach after head coach. And then he went to Tampa Bay. Right. And they said, we're gonna take a chance on him. And they just didn't stick it long enough. And the very next year, they won the Super Bowl after they fired Tony.
That's right.
But he took that same philosophy to Indianapolis and won with it. But again, he stayed to who he was.
Right.
And he stayed to what he was doing. He didn't change because other people wanted him to change. And so I'm a big Tony Dungy fan. So when I think of Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'd like to see that organization win because they gave him a chance when no one else would, but he stayed to his guns and stayed true to himself.
I like that. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, that's real talk. And you see, Tom Brady, Tony Dungy, right? I read both of Tony Dungy's books. Again, readers are leaders and leaders are readers. So with that being shared, we thank you. I know we've gone a few minutes over, but you can see the excitement. I see Brad wrote "Go Pats." Okay, so that's just changed everything between Brad and I. Okay, now I see how you're so close. And so with that, remember this: there's greatness within you. Live with purpose because your success is your choice. And remember, a vision without action is just a dream. A lot of action without a vision is merely a passing of time. But a vision, come on, somebody, with action can change the world. Stay blessed.